Tabletop Time, the show where we talk about our hobby journeys and what's happening in the miniature world.
And what is happening in the miniature world today, Jen?
We're talking about escalation. We are getting into it and we're super excited.
In the spirit of the classic White Dwarf tale of 4 warlords, and they continue that on Warcom. Well, we're 3 warlords, and we're going to be sharing with you our armies and the journey we take on them as we grow them over the next couple of months.
Yeah, some of the stuff you will probably have seen before on the channel, but this is more of an excuse to actually get it all together and make an army to play with.
Yeah, and to add to every month. So, well, you know what? I actually need a coffee before I can talk about this. I'm a bit tired.
Okay. You need coffee?
Yeah.
You need coffee. He needs coffee.
Thanks.
You got a bit of coffee froth on your neck.
No, it's nothing. What? So, what started this, Jen?
It's 10th edition for Warhammer, and I like the saying of New Year, New Army, even though it is now June. So
Missed their boat by a little bit, but hey, better late than never.
There's
fine.
a lot of armies for a lot of game systems. We just started a turnip army, so...
I think with escalation though, running it, I wanted to sort of wait for that sweet spot where a couple of codexes had come out, people had played the games, they knew what was new in 10th edition before introducing escalation to our store.
Yeah, having codexes helps a lot, especially with just motivation. Like, cool, my stuff's out. I can start.
So we are, as I mentioned at the start, going to be creating armies from armies we already have to get our first initial 500 points. It's starting at 500 points, is that correct?
That is correct, yes. So I have been organising it, and this is my first time organising an escalation tournament. So there was a couple of things to consider. So the first thing was how much was it escalating by? So the first round was 500 points, not being constricted to combat patrol, so you could build your own 500 points force. The next escalation would be 750, and then ending at 1,000.
I had 250 points of... Oh, God. That's so many. And how often?
Got about a month to add those units in and paint them up. 3 colour minimum is the requirement.
So that's what we're going to be diving into. And you know what? You can join in and chuck pictures in our Discords and share along if you want to build an escalation alongside us.
Yeah.
And we may even play some games. It could be a bit of fun with each other. We'll be playing games at the store, but yeah, we might play some, do something on the channel.
We'll let you know who wins.
So, who are we all playing?
I'll go first. I am finally getting around to doing a painted force of my town, my Farsight Enclaves, which have finally seen the light of day. They've been on and off. They were my first 40k army that I ever started collecting, and then just sort of bounced around being worked on and not worked on, in and out of editions, and now I'm just putting my foot down. I'm going to do it. I had a friend that got me into Tau, I think predominantly through the Fire Warrior video game back in the day when that came out. He showed me all his Tau and the Codex, which was like brand new back then. I was like, oh, cool, big space robots and high-tech guns and stuff. That's awesome. So I got into that, got the book, read through it, and there's a lot of cool stuff, but I ended up on this page with this dude called Commander Oshova, which was just a big battle suit with a big ass sword. I thought, yes, that's for me. I just went with that.
So you hadn't actually had a fully playable painted force?
No. In fact, this is where the hobbyist comes at, because I had my first box of 10 Fire Warriors, took me 10 years to paint. Not because it took me 10 years to paint 10 models. I painted those models again and again and again because I kept changing my idea of what colors I wanted to make them. So I painted, in technicality, probably about 30 or more Fire Warriors, but it was just the same 10 models. And I went through...
Not a good rate.
You know, I went through about 3 iterations of Farsight himself as well. So,
Wow.
Now you can see why I'm just like, yeah, no, I want to actually do this for once.
So something I should mention is that when you started building your Tau, I know your codex came out and some stuff got wiped from it. So
The battle suits, yes.
Yes. So I wanted that to not be something that's reoccurring. So basically, if your codex comes out during the length of the escalation, you could still use the units that you had previously. And they are Legends rules.
So you're letting Legends rules be a thing?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Does that include everything? All Legends?
Yes.
Horus Heresy Legends?
Yes.
Cool, sweet.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, look, for me, who's run only like 30k tournaments, Age of Sigmar, and that's kind of it, it's hard because there's a lot of very niche rules. So for me, it's like, I've just got to sort of play it and see
It's
how
fine.
it goes. Yeah.
It's going to be fun. And Murray's bringing his Farsight Enclave. And what are you bringing? I can guess.
Go on,
Drakari.
No, it's sisters.
Okay.
So for me, none of the armies that I would like to do for escalation have come out with anything.
None of the armies.
None of the armies, yeah. So potentially Emperor's Children or Chikari, or maybe even Eldari as well, depending on what the models look like. But I decided to stick with sisters. I'm also pretty much going to be like the proxy or the buy. So if people are stuck for a game, I'm always available. I already have the army as well, so I don't need to worry about it. So I kind of just stuck with sisters. Plus, I haven't actually played like a full-on game of 1,000 points 40k yet. I've only played Combat Patrol, so it's an excuse to get used to playing again. What about you, Dave?
Me, well, obviously as a long-time veteran Chaos Space Marine player who's just had a brand new Chaos Space Marine Codex come out, I'm playing Traitor Guard. And not Traitor Guard as in the Chaos Space Marines in, like, the unit in Chaos Space Marines. I'm playing Index Astra Militarum and playing them as Traitor Guard. Because I'm a crazy person. Actually, no, honestly, it's because I think that Traitor Guard's been a journey the channel has been sharing, and I think it's the closest to sort of a functional fieldable army that I want to play. I don't have much time to paint in my personal time, so knowing that I've painted a lot on the channel and I kind of have most of it done, as well as the fact that it's kind of cool. I don't know. I don't want to use my old painted Chaos Space Marine models to like substitute. I want it to be a newly painted experience. So I think it's kind of that excuse to trudge through and paint a few of the chaff units that I've put off, like a couple of infantry squads, and just get them done to tabletop standard. So then when I look back, I've got this awesome Traitor Guard army.
Yeah, it's fair. Like, mine is fairly recently painted, so I still have that newish vibe. If they were like older ones, I wouldn't have done it. And I've got the new Commander Farsight still to build, so everything is going to be new.
That's awesome. So we're going to show you where our armies are currently at and take you through them. And Mari can show us.
In my force for the Tower Farsight Enclaves, I am going to be using the Montcar detachment, what I've been waiting for ages for the Tower Codex, as beforehand we could only use Kion. So finally, Montcar, of course I'm going to go for that. And I've left enough points left over that I can sort of pick and choose which enhancement I want, except the most expensive. But that's fine. It was something I didn't want to use anyway. So I'm going to start my force around the Battlesuit Commander. That's usually a good place to start any Tower force. And I'm going to build up 2 troop squads, 1 strike team, 1 breacher team. It really shits me that in the Codex they're not listed as Fire Warrior Strike Team, Fire Warrior Breach Team. You have to go top of the alphabetical list, Breach Team, Strike Team. That's a small petty thing that annoys me, but I'm gonna mention it. So anyway, I've got 2 troops in HQ, pretty standard, pretty old school, and then I filled out the rest using a Piranha, because I want to play with its ability to force Battle Shock. That seems kind of fun and annoying. And also the Sniper Team, the Farsight Team, the Farsight Team for the Farsight Enclaves. That also seems like a bit of an oversight calling it that, but it's awesome and I'm gonna use it. So that is entirely all of my 500 points used up. From there, I'm just going to build on that. Combination of more infantry, pathfinders, and battle suits. That's my vibe, and that's what I'm going to do.
So for my army for escalation, I'm just going to go ahead and use the Sisters of Battle Combat Patrol. I have this all made up and painted, and you guys have seen it a few times before, so I'm going to use this to start. First up is our Battle Sister squad, consisting of 10 models, as well as the Canoness for my Warlord. She's equipped with a bolt pistol and a chainsword, and the sisters are just generic as well. Next up, we have the Rhino, our dedicated transport for my sisters, and that one has a Storm Bolter attached to it. The rest of the 500 points are made up with some other data sheets. First up, we have our Acroflagellants with 3 models there, a Penitent Engine with the Flamethrower and Buzzblades, a Repentious squad, and a squad of the Seraphim, with the leader holding 2 bolt pistols and with the others having close combat weapons and bolt pistols. So doing this on the app gives me about 455 points in total, which means I actually do have 5 points to spare. And obviously I can't buy anything with those 5 points, but I'm going to save those and add them on for later when I escalate into 750 points. In escalation, I have made it that you can change out units if you wish. So depending on how my force evolves, I might swap out some of these units for something else. But otherwise, this is what I'm starting with, a pretty normal list, nothing too heavy, but a really good way to start getting into escalation.
So my Traitor Guard army will be the Unbroken Chain. They are Astra Militarum in rules, but chaos in their heart. My army will be using the Astra Militarum Index rules because that's all that's available for Astra Militarum right now. And while initially it will be going straight out of the Index, I am quite tempted to use some Legends units that might feel a little bit more chaosy later down the line. The core of my force is based off a lot of models you've seen on the channel, but also it's really just the combat patrol. So we've got a platoon command squad as well as 2 infantry squads. I'm using gas masks on all of my infantry because I'm using them as Death Corps of Krieg, and that way my models that don't have gas masks on are pretty clearly infantry squads or Cadians. I'm using plasma guns, sniper rifles, and grenade launchers for my special weapons because I prefer a ranged approach. I'm taking 2 bombast field guns because who doesn't love a bit of artillery, and my company is at its foremost an artillery company. And then to round out my points, I'm also taking my Lehman Russ that I did on the channel. This does leave my list with a lack of anti-armor firepower, but at 500 points it's going to be pretty hard to make a list that can cover every base perfectly. This list does leave me with 15 points to spare, so I'll be taking an enhancement and probably the one that lets me give 2 orders per turn because, well, that just seems the best in small games with only 1 command squad. So that's where my force is at right now, and it's time for us to have a chat about how we might be expanding them in the future.
So that was a little showcase on the armies that we're going to be playing with for escalation at 500 points. But now we're going to talk about what we're going to add if we win the round.
What? What does that mean?
So basically the way that this escalation is working is we're doing something kind of unique. Basically, when you play your game, so let's say I play Dave, we get to vote on what we want to add for the next round of escalation. And it's between 3 different unit types.
This time. It's different every time.
It's different every time. So it's vehicle, monster, or infantry. Are the 3 to choose from. So I might want monster, you might want infantry, for example. We play our game and say, obviously we declare at the start which one we want to vote for, play our game, and whoever wins gets a point towards that particular unit type. So if you won, you would get a point towards infantry. Everyone plays their games, and at the very end of the round, we tally the results, and then whatever wins is what we add into the next round of escalation.
So all the points go into a pool, and whatever unit type gets the most points, that's what everyone can add next time.
Correct.
Yes, and you have to add that unit type if you can, but then the rest of the points you can spend on whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that was going to be my question.
And my question is, what if I don't have one of those things in my army and it wins? So like, I'm playing Imperial Guard, what happens if monster wins? I don't think there's a monster in my entire army.
There is not, but we just find an equivalent that works.
So,
like a dreadnought or something.
yeah, so we just talk it out. It's a small community thing. So like, my gut would say, if monster won, I'd probably feel like maybe Ogrins
or Sentinel.
Yeah, I was thinking a Sentinel or Ogrins feels right.
Yeah, as long as the points sort of match as well, I think that that's the most important part.
Yeah.
Yeah, or it opens up some kit bashing. Like you personally might not want to do this, but hey, Chaos Spawn being like led on chains by some guardsmen.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
For me, I'm probably going to pick infantry because the new Sisters box has come out with the Seraphim one, and they've got a couple of flying units, and I really like them. It's the whole reason I want that box. So I particularly think I want to add them or the Sacrosancts. I haven't decided which I want to add yet, but just either of those for me, I think I want to add.
Yeah, sure.
It's interesting because this is less specific and restrictive than my Horus Heresy one. So I would have said like infantry with a movement value over 6 is the sort of thing or over 7 or whatever's average for most armies. Because then it kind of goes like you have to add Attilan Rough Riders or jump pack infantry or it becomes more. So this is a lot freer. It's very beginner friendly.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind if infantry or monster or vehicle won. I don't want monster to win.
Yeah, I don't think I want monster to win either.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think sort of vehicle monsters almost in the same category. But for me, I'm fairly open. I'd like to either add some Kroot, just a little Kroot detachment to bulk up the force, or just go straight into some battle suits.
I feel like monster is battle suits for you, and vehicle is a vehicle. Because like a hammerhead or a skyray or a devilfish or something. So you kind of feel similar. So maybe you are going to vote for monster.
Maybe.
Although the Kroot things have the monster keyword, like a Krootox.
Yeah, you got the Krootox.
That would
and
mean you're forced to
Kroot
take
rider.
a Krootox.
Maybe.
That's what makes it fun.
See, the lazy person in me says vehicle because then I can just put my basilisk in and that's like already painted. But if I was to paint new things and we got infantry, I want to do a squad of scions. I was going to do Cassican, but I don't like their rules because they're really points expensive because everyone's using them in tournaments and because of those melter mines.
Yeah, the melter charges, what are they? Yeah.
They've gone up like 30 points and I don't want to pay 130 points for 10 guardsmen, even if they have 4 up saves. So I'm thinking Tempesta Scions because I just want like shock troops. I don't care about the meta rules. I just want shock troops that feel like heavier armored guys. I was tempted to get some like Hakroni Warhawk or gosh, what are they called?
Elysian drop troops?
Elysian drop troop grav harnesses. You just can't get them though. I've been playing a lot of Fallout, so I want to get their Volkite guns and kind of like scratch bash, kit bash their Volkite guns to look like they were Volkite guns, but they're now like Dark Mechanicus hot shot guns. Because what is a hot shot last gun? It's not really clear.
No.
So I'm thinking of like cutting the bottom or the top half of the Volkite coils off and then putting like a long barrel with like wiring wired into it and having it be like sort of a half broken down jury rigged Volkites that they're running as hot shots.
Yeah, that works. I made a hot shot volley gun out of a flamer just by cutting off the canisters and making it a bit streamlined.
Yeah, cool.
So, yeah.
It can be done. So that's what I'm thinking. So I kind of hope infantry wins in a weird way so I can convert up some really cool chaos veterans.
I have a feeling infantry is probably going to be the most popular choice out of all of those.
500 points is also deceptively small. I mean, I know there's an Imperial Guard player here right now, but you don't get a lot in 500 points.
You don't get a lot unless you want to cry. Like, I don't want to field like 50 infantry and nothing else in a guard army. So it really was like the core of a combat patrol with a unit for me. Yeah, you take your 2 infantry and your platoon command squad and it's like 200 points, but then anything else in the book is like 150. So yeah.
If infantry wins, you can take 1 squad of troops and you can probably fit a Leman Russ in there.
That is quite easy for guard. So I kind of, infantry winning is easy. The 5 veterans is 50 points.
There we go.
You can just drop in 5 veterans and add 200 points or whatever I want. So this has been our pretty low-key introduction to our escalation and the concept of it. But I think what will be really exciting is as we go forward, we can kind of share the hobby that we do at home in these videos on a Tuesday and kind of bring that in. We'll do updates where we all come in, show off all the new models we've painted, talk about them, talk about how we went in the escalation, and it should be really fun. We can sort of share that journey with you of what we're doing in our own time, in our own personal hobby, and it'll be cool if anyone is joining along or sharing along, even theory crafting what their lists would be or what they'd add. And feedback if you think it's a cool idea. If you like the idea of how we're doing the escalation, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, it's just a little insight into what we're doing in our own time.
So in news and new releases, of course, there is a big headline. Games Workshop have just announced the release date of Age of Sigmar 4.0, which will be in stores on July 13th. That's on their website right now, and pre-order 2 weeks beforehand.
The 29th, I believe.
Which is pretty cool, so you can get your Dominion, get your hands on Dominion and check out some new cool
You
stuff
mean
in there.
Skaven
Dominion.
side?
Dominion, you can get your hands on Scale. I'm so old. I call it Indomitus, no matter what. The latest
That's so
box
funny.
for 40k is Indomitus. Well, Scaventide is not a good name. It's a great box, a bad name. It should be called Vermintide or it should be called Ratpocalypse.
They're also hosting a global campaign as well. So like Leviathan, you could do that campaign. Battle from Macra or something like that was the other one. This one has one as well, which is the Skaven versus the Stormcast. And it determines the fate.
It is actually interesting because in Age of Sigmar, they actually do determine the fate because they change the law.
Yes.
Whereas in 40k, it's always kind of hand-waved into being irrelevant because it's like, we'll invent a planet that means nothing and you'll determine the fate of that.
Well, for 40k, it was who got releases first. list
That
was
was
either
kinda
Space
neat.
Marines
Yeah.
or Tyranids, and
That was a
Tyranids
vote.
won. Yes. So yeah, this one I think has a lot of lore and story building behind it. So you can participate in that once Escape and Tide has been released.
I have a feeling Games Workshop logistics were shocked into silence when Tyranids won over Space Marines. They probably were all lined up to get Space Marines. That everyone was like, "We're sick of seeing Space Marines."
And I guess it's the same thing you get. Like, do you think Skaven are going to win, or do you think Stormcasters are going to win? I reckon Skaven are going to win. I think people are
Hopefully
waiting
not.
on Skaven for way too long.
Hopefully not. I hope they don't win. I think my reasoning is in the lore, the good guys in Age of Sigmar just get beaten down endlessly, and I actually want the good guys to have some wins, which is it's good. You want that to feel like I care. I keep seeing these lore and reading the latest lore in Age of Sigmar, and I'm just like, God damn it! Can the good guys get some wins? Like I'm sick of seeing the good characters getting their ass whooped.
Yeah, get some
And
investment.
actually getting their ass whooped. No spoilers, but yeah.
What else? We've got Imperialis. Some battle forces have been
Oh my
released,
gosh.
which is very needed. Like,
So many like restocks and repackages, aeronautical planes and stuff.
oh, please, yes, thank you. I'd like some ships.
Yeah, I was tempted to actually stock some Imperials, but no one plays it locally, so
Yeah, well, no one can because they don't have basic troops.
yeah, that's true. So you can also buy Predators now, finally. But the command squads, like Shadow dropped for Horus Heresy.
Yes.
Mark 3 and Mark 4 command squads,
Yeah.
just like out of nowhere.
I want some of that.
So that's really cool. Well, for us, we fans of Horus Heresy, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But that's Games Workshop.
Yeah, some extra news that I know of is that we got, I don't know if it was shown and released, but definitely not taking prisoners for Star Wars Shatterpoint, which is going to be Thrawn making appearance in Shatterpoint, including a couple of CIS operatives and Agent Callus, I think. But that's really cool. Thrawn is awesome, one of the best things in Star Wars. Fight me, I don't care. And it's awesome to just see more of him.
I just need pit droids. When they introduce pit droids in any capacity in either Legion or Shatterpoint, I'll get into it. Until there are pit droids, I'm not interested. Sorry. I need my stupid suitcase robots.
Yeah, you need your
mandatory.
little dopamine, little sugar fix go, yes, that one, I want that.
Yeah.
But that seems to be the sort of fun little thing that Shatterpoint sort of does. You get those fun little narrative things. Like we're also getting a set of the main characters from the Battlefront 2 Dice Edition.
Yes, they almost tempted. I saw that on Twitter, and there was a post from Atomic Mass that was the picture of them. I don't know when they got revealed, but that's when I took notice of them. Battlefront 2, they were just cool Imperials. I'm like, they're the coolest Imperials I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's like a death squad of some sort they created for it. Very cool.
You know, I have always loved the Imperial from A New Hope. I watched it so much as a kid. The TIE fighter pilots and the gunnery officers with the helmets that have like
The shovel hats?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love them. I love them so much. TIE fighter pilots look awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments if there's any other sort of off to the side and esoteric news that we might have missed, because we like to hear more things.
What would be really good is if you could let us know what pipelines they officially announce this stuff on. Like one of the ways Games Workshop, it's really convenient to like talk about their reveals is they have this very structured, very clear news delivery platforms. I don't want to go to like websites covered in ads that are like third party, just trying to get you click. I just want to know what are the pipes that you can follow to get up to date news for a whole bunch of games. The only caveat is for this section, physical releases that go to stores. I love STLs. I love what companies are doing, but there are literally thousands of Patreons out there making new releases every month that are awesome, but we're not going to deliver on STL like news. It's just not. Small or big, doesn't matter. Like even resins and stuff like that. I think our cutoff is it has to be physical.
Yeah.
And thanks to your feedback last week, the Paternit video, we got a lot of positive comments, positive feedback, and that is exactly the sort of video where we got to put a bunch of time and love into that because of the new format on Tuesdays. So it's been really cool. Thanks for our patrons for constant feedback and support, and thanks to our viewers for also giving us support and telling us what to do next.
I gotta go paint some stuff for escalation, build some stuff for escalation.
I'm kind of hyped. Yeah.
I actually have AOS to do now because there's an AOS battle coming out as well.
Everything's
Yeah.
happening.
And I'm
Everything's
that close close to getting into Fallout Wasteland Warfare.
Oh, right.
Close.
Right, me too. It looks fun.
I just need like one release that grabs me. The Nuka World thing for the new. I don't like Raiders, so if it had been like Minutemen and Gunners, and I'd be closer. But I want to do a Vault Dwellers warband where there's one pack of Vault Dwellers, but it's like 4 people and they're more like NPCs. I want like a full band of like Vault Dwellers going out with their not just security outfits, but also like leather armor and like,
Minutemen would be pretty
yeah,
good
ray
as
guns
well.
and weird stuff. Yeah,
Yep.
that's cool. Cool.
See you next
Bye. We
week.
should have
See you next
finished this
time.
video ages ago. Get out of here. Go.
This
Go.
is what we do.
Go.